The last thing my program is supposed to do is it is supposed to take a command line argument, because this chapter was with the first chapter when we learned how to use command line arguments. So I'm supposed to be able to add a command line argument that gives the name of the text file, and I'm supposed to use that text file name as the basis for the output file name. So instead of my current files, I should read in whatever file name is listed here, and then output into something that has an underscore caps after it. Okay, let's have a look. So this, I think I'm done up here inside the actual process file method, but here's where I need to work down here. First thing is I need to be able to take command line arguments, and then as we saw in previous videos, you have to always assume that the user is going to do something that you don't want them to do. That's what users do, things that you don't want. Ah, yes, life of a programmer. Let's protect against that. So make sure the user is being good. Gave an argument, or gave a data file name. If args.length is less than 1, print an error. Error usage, capitalize file name, and then we'll return. Okay, if we're here, then if we make it down to this point, then we know that they type something in, so we can collect it. So instead of a final string f name, I will say string file name equals arg sub 0. Okay, now I can get rid of this thing. And I can definitely get rid of this thing. I know that my process file name is going to be the file name they passed, and now I have to figure out what to do about the out file. So what the heck is in the out file? Well, I know that if I'm just thinking about ch09.txt, for example, just to type it out, I know that I need to fetch out this part of the string up to the dot, and I can probably assume that this is the same, but maybe I'll take that afterwards. So I need to be able to take this part, add underscore caps to the end of it, put the dot in, and then add the txt or whatever extension is on the end. So that's a substring, but I need to know where this dot is, because I don't know how long this part is. So here's what I need to know. Where is the dot? Find the dot in the string, in the file name. Get everything up to the dot. Tack on or append caps to that. Append the dot. And then append everything after that, the dot. That's my plan. So everything hinges on me being able to find this dot. If I can't find the dot, I'm sunk. Fortunately, in the lab handout, it says that you might want to use index of. Well, what is index of? The chapter talks about it, but if you couldn't find the chapter for some reason, you could go look it up in the Java doc by going to Google and typing Java 8 index of would probably do the trick. And that will just take you directly to string, where you can then say Command F and type in index of into the find box, and it will take you right there. So it's saying returns the index within the string. The index, that's where it is in the string, from 0 to length minus 1. That's exactly what I need for substring, so this is good. Okay, so here we go. Int dot index equals file name dot index of, and we'll look for that dot. Now, we are really in a world of trouble. If there is no dot, I guess we can either say, well, I guess there doesn't have to be a dot, but we definitely need to know before the dot. If there is no dot, then we can assume that we'll just take the whole file name and write it out, I guess. So if no dot, and I'm going to write this out. If there's no dot, just append caps to the file name. Otherwise, do something fancier with substrings. Okay, so that sounds like an if-else statement to me. Let me put that in. This is about the only way I can code when I'm also talking, is to do it in English, so this helps me too, actually. So if dot index is equal to -1, the documentation will tell you that this means it's not found. Then I will just say that the output file name is the input file name plus the underscore caps. So let's start with an, what did I call it? Out file. Okay. Okay, that should do the trick. And then we'll put the else here. Now I'm going to just test my theory with that for a second, just to make sure I'm thinking right about it, and I'm going to do that over here by building. And then also I need to set up my data file to be correct. Oh, out file might not have been initialized. Yeah, that's probably true. And let's see what I have. I have ch09.txt. I'm going to make a copy. I'm using CP to copy. You could actually go into your folder and just do a copy in the Windows Explorer if you want, or on the Mac. Or if you like to do it in DOS, for you DOS users, that would be copy instead of CP. So for Mac users, it is just CP. For Windows users, it's COPY. And then I start with my first file, and then I say what I want to copy it to, and in this case I'll just say testing. Okay, so now I have two files, testing and chapter09.txt. If I look inside testing, I can see it's my usual test file. Okay, so I'm going to test my code so far. So what it's supposed to do is if I don't say any arguments, it's supposed to give me an error, and it does. If I give a file with no dot, it's supposed to just put it on the end. And there it is, testing underscore caps. And it has the capitalized version. Okay, that's great. I'm happy about that. Now let's do the fancier version, which is to find the dot index and to do something fancier. So the first part of the file, which is the actual file name part, not the extension, is everything up to the dot. So just like the previous part of this lab, we've got the file name dot substring starting at the first one and going up to one before the dot, so going up to dot index. Okay. The next part is of course the dot, and the only thing that might happen is they could have put a dot on the end of the word, in which case there would be nothing after the dot, so we should check for that too. So that would be if the dot is at the end, we're done. Otherwise, put on the original extension. Okay, I'm going to add on to the first part. Maybe instead of saying first part, I'll just start building my out file. And then we'll add on the caps part. Put on the dot. Actually, put the dot right on while we're here. Well, actually, no. The better thing to do is to just do this. If the dot is at the end, we can still put the dot on using substring, and it will just take the ending dot. So we'll put on the end of it the file name.substring starting right at the dot index, so picking up that dot, and then potentially getting some more characters. If the dot happens to be at the end, then it just will only take the dot and then we'll be done. So I think we're set here. Let's give it a try with those two options. So my two test cases would be if the dot is at the end with no extension, or if the dot has an extension after it. So what do I have? Let me move testing to be testing dot. So now I have testing dot, which is kind of weird, but should be legal. Let me build and run this. Oh, I think I put string there. Yes, okay. Making sure I don't try to redeclare out file since it was already declared up here once. And I want to use the same variable. And let me send testing dot. It likes it. Testing caps dot. Oops. Beautiful. Okay, let's do one more test, which is to move testing dot to testing dot txt. And one more run through here. And what do we have? Testing caps.txt. Beautiful. Yes. At this point, I can definitively say, I am done.